Over the next few years, what do you think are going to be key trends or maybe key technologies, key tools that develop in MLOps? Maybe we got a hint there already from you around how you were describing how there are so many fewer data quality evaluation tools relative to the kinds of DevOps tools that are out there.
Yeah, I think that is one piece. I also think one thing that you see, and it's fascinating to me, is how the data engineer plays such a pivotal role in the machine learning lifecycle, and how you really need to be when you're creating machine learning or AI products, you really should be speaking with all your stakeholders, but data engineers are one of those ones. It's like I consider them the unsung heroes of this whole AI revolution. And so that's one piece. Like if you don't know anything about data engineering, that would be a great place to start and get involved there. Start just figuring out pipelines. I think that is one thing, especially data preparation pipelines. That's huge and that's going to take you so far. And obviously, you've got all the if you wanna play on what I would call, like, the front I almost see it as I don't know if you see this too, man, but this is like, before API call or after API call, or, like, before the model or after the model, because you've got and that's not the best way of looking at it, but it's almost like you've got if it's I consider everything after the model, like the prompt templates and the orchestration and the vector databases and all of that stack that you can look at. And then the before the model is like those data pipelines. And potentially, if you're doing stuff in the ML world, you've got the Jupyter notebooks that you're exploring and you're just trying to see, is there something valuable here? Can we do that? So coming back to the question, a very long-winded answer. As far as where to go, it depends on where you wanna play and where you think you're most excited, because I could say, "All right, well, go learn some Kubernetes and learn about how to write YAML files because that's gonna be very useful for a platform engineer. Go and figure out SQL because that's very useful for data engineering." But I don't think you can go wrong if you start to understand the whole data and ML lifecycle, and then you start to really work on like getting pipelines working like they should, data prep pipelines, and just like making sure that you have an understanding there. Deployment is always like a key piece, but it's not as key if you're just planning on hitting an API. And so there's always these little caveats on what do you think you're going to be doing. And I guess what it comes down to is just get good at learning and expect to have to totally revamp and relearn everything, maybe in a year, maybe in 6 months.
Nice, makes a lot of sense. Do you have any particular resources that you recommend to people who are just getting started in MLOps?
If you're trying to get into the other side of things, like figuring out the AI engineering or the way to work with large language models, I would also recommend the blogs of like Llama Index blog is a great place to start. LangChain blog is also really useful because they show you all of the learnings that they've had. And really, people are we're kind of all in the same boat. If there's somebody that's more advanced or more experienced at this, the cool thing to know is that they're only probably like 6 months more experienced at it than you are. It's very hard to be a expert of 10 years in this because it all came out just so recently.